Welcome to the Sunday morning simulcast with Rom Wills. See failures as learning experiences. This is very important, everyone, because here's the reality. We're all going to fail. In fact, some of us have failed a whole lot. Some of us have failed less than others, but that's the one thing we had in common. All of us are going to fail. None of us are walking on water. Even billionaires will fail. Everybody. I don't care what it is. You're going to have some failure relationships. You're going to maybe have a failing grade here or there, or you don't do as well as you think. Shoot, you're going to trip up and fall. That's normal. That's normal. A few weeks ago, I talked about down moments are normal. Failure is normal. But two things with that. One, you need to minimize your failures anyway. And the way to do that is for looking at each failure as a learning experience. When you look at great inventors, people who became real successful in life, they can all laugh about their failures. They can all laugh about it. Shoot, I've had some failures and I'm proud of it because each one I learned something. I say, you know what? That doesn't quite work for me. Okay, let me do something else. And that's what many inventors, successful people who come up with innovative ideas, they can tell you when they were failed. In fact, I believe it was Thomas Edison. He said he was able to invent something, the light, because of so many failures. You know, the light bulb, because of so many failures. He had to go through a lot. And that's any inventor, anybody successful. They go through a lot, but then they find what works. How many men and women have started businesses that have been wildly successful, but then when they look back at it, they say, no, I was failing here, I was failing here. This business itself was failing. But they learn from the mistakes. And we've all been through failed relationships. Each one is a learning experience. Each single relationship is a learning experience. Everything that happened, you learn something. It was like, oh, I shouldn't do that again, should I? Or I shouldn't be with that type of person. Or you learn about yourself. It's like, no, this was my issue. But you learn something. Because there is no shame in falling. It's only shame if you stay down. It's only shame if you don't get the lesson from it. None of us are born perfect. If any of y'all think y'all were born perfect, you know what? I don't even need to hear from you. I want to see, hey, that means you got everything going in life. You need to be doing videos. None of us are. Like I'll even say about myself, I'm not a guru. And I tell people, don't call me some guru or something. I'm not on the top of the mountain. I'm just, hey, we climbing together. Y'all within shouting distance. We climbing together. Some of us side by side. Shit, a few of y'all just a little bit ahead of me, but you're not at the top of the mountain either. We're all growing. We're all growing. We're going to have failures. We all are going to make mistakes. There's all things that we regret doing. But let me talk about the regret thing. Don't look at something that you messed up at or failed at as a regret. Look at it as something that got you to where you became successful. Like, I have no problem saying I've had numerous failures. I always joke about working on 1,000 jobs. Well, apparently I wasn't successful at all of those jobs. But then I learned, each one I learned something, but also learned about myself to put me in a position to be where I'm at now. Because I learned the lesson from it. If for nothing else, it was like, this ain't what I want to do in life. Hey, that's it. Seriously. Shoot, one door closes and maybe that just opens up the other door. Maybe it's where you're supposed to be anyway. In fact, there have been people, you read their stories and they said what they did was turn that failure into a success. Or sometimes they failed and then they'll figure out what went wrong and then they will grow from that. I want y'all to think about it. Instead of just being mad, say, oh, I failed. It's like, hold up. Let me say, how did I fail at this? Oh, let me change up something. Do. All of a sudden, you're doing well in life. You're doing great. And all you did was just change something because you recognized it. In fact, failure is your friend. Yeah, let me say that again. Failure is your friend because it tells you right away, this doesn't work. You know, like let me use it for relationships. People, that's a big place. People will say, oh, I had a failed marriage, had a failed relationship. Maybe you weren't either A, not supposed to be there, or B, you needed to change something. Indeed, some people, they've been in like marriages, even marriages, and then, you know, it failed, but then they learned their mistakes, they changed, they've grown, and they actually get back together. Because they changed though, they didn't get back together the same way. And that's not saying like get back together, but you know, this is just an example of you learn stuff. There's been many a business. You see, read the biographies of successful people, and they will go through something and then it was like, oh, that's not gonna work. Let me do something else. You know, let me do it something else. Let me do it differently. Let me do it differently. Boom. You know, sometimes a failure could be just a course correction. That's it. But you got to look at the lesson. When you fail at something, don't say, oh, I failed. I'm just not. Why did you fail? Seriously, why did you fail? Look at it. Maybe you shouldn't have did it that way. Maybe you should do it a different way. Maybe if you do something a certain way, you get more attention or you get more money, you get more opportunity. You know, it could have been something as simple as, you know, maybe I should have cut my hair before I went in for that interview. Oh, I'm dead serious. You look at everything, you know, and then maybe you go back to that same place for an interview just because of a different haircut. It could be something small. I'm not joking with that. It could be something very small. You just do something right again and boom. I'm going to tell you what, when I was in school, I failed a few tests. You know, failed or got very low grades on a few tests. I have no shame in saying it. But you know what I did? I looked at what I did wrong. And then I come back, the next test, I get an A. My dear grandmother, may her soul rest in peace, she pointed that out to me. She said, you know, you can go from F to A. Just because, okay, when I got the F, I was like, oh, okay, let me do something different. Let me look at it. What am I doing wrong here? Then next test, boom. Boom. And that's just life. There's no shame in falling. Shoot, when you're walking, as a baby, when you're walking, you're going to fall a lot. You know, I remember my youngest son, he walked early. In fact, I really don't have a good memory of him crawling. I really don't have a good memory of him even crawling. He had to, I think, at some point, but he would pretty much stand up, fall on his butt, laugh, and then try to stand up again, fall again. And then at some point, he was like, dude, you know, he was talking with his mother about that. I said, do you remember him actually crawling? He kept falling, and he would laugh about it and then get right back up. You know, he just learned from it. So, anyway, I want y'all to look at that. Every time you fail, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, it doesn't feel good at the time, but just sit back and say, what did I do wrong? All right? What did I do wrong? And then you'll be good to go. So anyway, that's all I have for today. I'm going to get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.